The Japanese have been the inventors of some pretty weird shit, but can you blame them? You tell me that you would be thinking straight after a man in a wheelchair yeeted 2 nuclear bombs at your house. After that much radiation, I'd probably think used underwear vending machines and fleshlights shaped like feet were good ideas too. Nowhere is this cultural mutation more apparent than in Japan's obsession with product-related mascots, which has given rise to such characters as Cat with Bowl on Head, Living Pile of Shit, and SCP-0234. Now take this love of strange mascots, and mix in a massive Western company, and a copy of Yonoid, and you get Pepsi Man, a Japan-only release for the PS1.
Hey, let's start the game!
Pepsi Man follows the titular character on his quest to give everyone in the world type 2 diabetes by showering them in his sweet sticky juices. Each stage acts as an on-rails obstacle course, tasking the player to avoid obstacles in order to reach an empty vending machine at the end of each stage. These include construction workers, random traffic, and giant Pepsi cans. At the time of release, the gameplay was compared to the original Crash Bandicoot. However, a more modern comparison would be iOS games such as Subway Surfer or Temple Run. The games that small children would spend hundreds of pounds on before Fortnite existed. The overall gameplay is pretty simple, but that isn't surprising given that this game was allegedly produced on a small budget. Despite this low-budget approach, it's pretty solid, if a little unpolished. The simple control scheme works well with the on-rails design, and the fast-paced levels with varied obstacles and limited checkpoints kept me engaged for much longer than I'd expected. It's simple but effective, and doesn't try to do too much with what it has to work with. However, I can appreciate how some people might be disappointed by how surface level the gameplay feels. Graphically, the game is okay, but nothing amazing. But then again, no one should be expecting Metal Gear Solid levels of graphics out of a game designed to sell Pepsi, especially one that was so limited by budget and hardware. The level design is quite a clear indication of this game's purpose. This ain't your Kendall Jenner solving world peace with a can of Pepsi advertising. There is at least one Pepsi logo on screen at any one time, with Pepsi cans as collectible items, and every other asset having the company logo slapped on. Subtlety is not a word in Pepsi Man's vocabulary, but looking at him, I'm not too sure if I would want him to speak at all. The sound design also lacks subtlety, with almost every action in game having an obnoxious sound effect. This was worsened by the fact that no music was playing during each stage, though this may be because I was using a totally legitimate copy. Which is a shame because the actual Pepsi Man music fucking slaps. But seriously, the level with the giant can sounded like they recorded a raccoon rolling around in a metal bin. Overall, Pepsi Man is a pretty solid game, though does suffer from a lack of polish across the board. While clearly making a polished game was second to shilling Pepsi when designing the game, it still manages to be an enjoyable if at time frustrating experience. I would recommend it, but it took me fucking ages to find the ISO for it online. Felt like fucking Indiana Jones when I did. Anyway, I'm off to enjoy some refreshing Pepsi co-product TM.